Good afternoon. I'd like to thank the eINDIA organizer for inviting me today to share our experience in Malaysia. Okay, today I would like to share our project in Malaysia. We are actually building a Telecentre. I think we're quite young comparatively to India. I think I've heard about your experience in telecentres. You have a lot of them, and you have advanced quite a lot. Yeah? So I'm from the CORI. Yeah, CORI is a Center of Excellence for Rural Informatics. It's a project of the center. So our center is a multidisciplinary center. So they are researchers from different faculty. So we look at all aspects of the Telecentre. Just to give you a view how our center, who are members of center, they are from the Faculty of Social Science and from the Social Science faculty, and I lead the project. And most of the technologies or members, they agree that a project must be led by social science, because that would enhance the success of the Telecentre. And we are not looking at just technology per se. We are looking at technology as a tool for rural development. So that's from social science. And then we have members from the computer science and IT, information technology. They will look at the whole idea of computer, software, use of software, and also training of IT. Yeah? And then we have engineering faculty, engineers who look at the whole setup of the solar panel, solar energy, because we use green energy. And then we also have members from the Faculty of Economics and Business, because we need to help the villagers to improve the socio-economic situation. Because the goal of our Telecentre is first to bridge the divide between rural and urban digital divide, rural-urban digital divide, to close it. And secondly, to raise the socio-economic situation of the rural community. I think for most of Asia, I think rural community are quite at a disadvantage. So Malaysia is without exception. And then we also have members from the Center of Language Studies. We try to help people, like some of the sharing today, and some of the women in Sri Lanka, they want to learn English. So we get people from Center for Language Studies who help to teach the rural folks. Yeah? And the last one is, so I think that's all. Yeah. So these are the members of the CORI, Center of Excellence for Rural Informatics. We are supported by the federal government. That's mostly the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. Yeah? They gave us a grant for 2 years via the university. Yeah? We are also supported by the in-service provider, Maxis, probably some of you know. And also we are supported by the Japanese government. Japanese government are quite active in supporting energy projects that will reduce CO2, carbon dioxide. So they supported our solar panel, which is part of the Telecentre. Yeah, so the site, we have criteria for site selection. According to mostly the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation, the site must have five criteria. 4 no, and 1 yes. No road access, no water supply, pipe water supply, no energy supply, 24 hours, no ICT coverage. 4 no's and 1 yes. Yes means community must say yes to a Telecentre. We do that in the process using participatory action research. Or for some of you call maybe community organizing. Yeah? Some may use that as well. So this is a site, this is a map of Malaysia. Malaysia is 2 parts, West Malaysia. I think some of you have been to West Malaysia, which is more developed. And from the East Malaysia, we have 2 states on the Borneo Island, that's Sarawak, where the center is situated, and also Sabah. So this is a map of Sarawak. This is Kuching, where I work here. Faculty is in Kuching, and the center is somewhere here. That's very far. Sorry. And the center, so we have to fly from Kuching to Miri, and we have to take a road, which is a logging road. We have not surface. It's about 8 to 9 hours to a nearby village, and then we take a river boat. It's about 1 hour to 1.5 hours by boat. So it's a place whereby they meet the criteria of the ministry. And so first visit, we have a site visit. So we asked them whether they want a telecentre. And we did a survey, of course, a baseline study, whether they want it and what do they want it for. And so it's a whole process of asking people that if they want it, it's easier. I think Mr. Manik talked about ownership. And so we must ensure in PAR that people want it. If they want it, then they can own it. Of course, we help them in the process. This is a road. It takes about 8 to 9 hours. Logging road. I think if you know, a lot of the areas has been cut down. The forests have been cut down by the logging company. Then the boat ride. That's 1 to 2 hours by boat ride. Depending on the boat ride, depending on the water. If the water is too shallow, then they have to pull the boat. So the difficulty is enormous. That's a river Balong. This is a village. It's a Penan tribe, very much depend on the forest, and they're quite well known in the Europe, I think, because they are very much for the forest and against logging activities. It's one of the long houses, and they are subsistence farmers, and they rely on the forest for their food, for the wild boar, vegetables, and they rely on the land a lot. So this is a community that never heard about computers. Of course, after we brought in, all of them have seen it. So we have that. We have a baseline studies in the process, what they want it for, and then we also have a user studies. Are they satisfied when we have the computers? So in a sense, when you do PR, we want to make sure they are partners of our development. We are researchers, so we don't present any interest, non-party interest or non-government interest. We are purely researchers, and we want to make sure the people or the community benefit from the project. So partners of development. So in the actual process, then we have a lot of meetings. And this is already 21 trips in the last 2 years. So every meeting, my trip will take about, I'll go there Friday, Saturday, so I leave Tuesday. So that's about 3 or 4 days in 1 to 2 months. So there are a lot of discussion, there are a lot of decision making, and they decide. I always tell them you have to decide because this is a project. So the process took about 2 years. So that's probably why they are in the process. They are in a way empowered, like some of your sharing earlier. They are also empowered. And so we had this discussion. So when they say yes, we sort of have an election. So this community is quite different from other communities. It's very egalitarian. And so of course other sites, we have 4 other sites. Other sites may not have the same results because they also are stratified. I think for Indian society, you also stratify. So some societies in Malaysia, they also stratify. For this community, they are quite egalitarian, so it's a bit easier. And so we have an election for the steering committee and also for the management committee. The steering committee will ensure the whole center is built in terms of arrangement, in terms of work processes. And after that, the management committee takes over. That will mean you manage the center and manage the training of the villagers. So this is part of the earlier scenes. These are the communities in the community hall. These are night sessions. So they decide on the site. They have to decide on the site. We help with our experts from IT, from engineering, also to look at the site, whether the site has the best exposure, solar exposure, because we're going to use solar energy. And so we take a few few sites, we look at it. In the end, they're not suitable because to face east-west alignment. So we have initially we brought the plan, but we brought the architectural plan. So we found out it's difficult to read them. So in the end, we come up with the model. So we look at the model. They have to decide whether it's okay to change. So this is the project site. This is the actual one that came up. And so you have the house, it's the center. You have the solar behind. It's about 12 kilowatt per hour, I think the capacity. And it's a building. This is a VSAT. It's a solar for VSAT. So this is the eCenter. It's the center of the villages. In the training, we have IT training. And so we have the IT lectures who came and teach, mainly on the Skype. I think Skype, email, and many other software applications. And so we have the opening, whereby we have tele opening from the site as well to the campus. This is in the site area. This is also a site area, and this is a beam from the campus. This is our Deputy Vice Chancellor. This is a dean from the IT faculty. Okay, thank you very much. This is a site if you want more information. I think that's all for me. Thank you very much.